Going to go, who's the breakout star? Who's going to go from kind of the fringes of college basketball to start on the season? T.O., I'm going to you first. If you got four of them, go quick, please.
I got. All right. So Jeremy Roach could step up, be big for Duke. He's a big if for that team. Kendrick Davis at Memphis, he steps into the spotlight. He's going to be on a much bigger stage. Then the two that I'm willing to bet on, and the first one, I'm not sure that is a huge deal because everybody kind of sees it coming, but Pele Larson at Arizona had a terrific summer. Not a good summer, a terrific summer. He has a chance to be the best player on that Arizona team that's still going to be really good.
Swedes stick together. That's what it is, huh?
Swedes stick together. Not Swedish, but we'll keep going. The other one is an interesting one. And I was curious how this was going to go. But after that Gonzaga-Tennessee game, he scored at a really high level ever since he's been in college. We're talking leading his former league in scoring consistently. Tyreek Key could mess around and sneak up, and not only Tennessee could win the SEC, they could, but he could be a spark off the bench because they're going to bring him off the bench, and he could average big numbers because he plays within pay. He plays with good pace. He can shoot the ball. He's big and strong kid. He's going to be able to kind of be a counter to the rest of the Southeastern Conference because where it's a bunch of long, rangy young athletes, he's this big, burly, a little bit shorter and older, has kind of a grandpa game. You know what I mean? A lot of ball fakes, a lot of jump shots, like really good.
Got a Chris Lofton vibe to me.
Well, Chris was good.
Yeah, Chris was a little bit of a Chris Lofton vibe.
Yeah, Chris was really good. But Tyreek Key could sneak and be in that conversation at the end of the year because Tennessee's going to be really good and he's going to score a lot of points.
All right, Fanta, who you got?
I've got Matthew Murrell at Ole Miss. I think he's poised for an even bigger year. Just love looking at what?
I love it.
I love that. I love it. I'm all in on him. He's so good.
When you look at the Rebels, if they're going to be this dark horse in the SEC, then Murrell's got to have that big year. And I thought he really hit his stride as the year went on. Ole Miss just has to stay healthy. They have been bitten bad by the injury bug. So Matthew Murrell at Ole Miss. I love the sophomore, Mo Gay at Washington State. Long, athletic, explosive, tested the NBA draft waters. Big year for Washington State. And I think Mo Gay is going to have a huge season here coming back to college basketball. So he's number 2 on my list. I'll go rapid fire here. Number 3 is Bryce Hopkins at Providence because I think that he is ready to spring on the scene here. Obviously flies under the radar last year, was at the end of the bench. In the final minute of Kentucky's loss to St. Peter's, and he's thinking in his head, what's my next step going to be? So experienced the ultimate defeat, didn't play, wasn't really a part of that team. Now he goes to Providence. Ed Cooley seems to be transfer you. Let's see how that works. Then the last one, actually, I go back to Kentucky. Because if the Wildcats are going to be a national championship caliber team, there needs to stop being just talk. We got to see big-time results from Jacob Toppin. He's ready for the big year.
Yep, I agree. Jacob Toppin is one of the 3 guys I've written down. I love the Morrell call. That's a great one. T.O. and I are on the SEC preview show tonight. Teaser.
He's very good.
I'm very high.
He reminds me a lot of former Kentucky guard Jody Meeks.
Yeah, bucket getter. Was one of the best players in the SEC on the stretch of last season. We'll save that for the SEC show. I love that call. Jacob Toppin's got to make shots. If he's making shots, and to me, he's one of the biggest X factors in college basketball.
Yes.
But the 2 guys on my list, I'm going to start with Nolan Hickman, point guard at Gonzaga. When you have big point guards for Gonzaga, these guys that can kind of play that role. I mean, just look at what Nigel Williams-Goss did. Look at what Andrew Nembhard did. I think Nolan Hickman's going to step into that role. He's not exactly he's kind of like a cross between what Jalen Suggs was and what those guys were. But I do think the point guard role at Gonzaga is one where you can just kind of plug and play and you end up being a star there. And then Chris Murray. Listen to the Geo Baker talk about him on the Big Ten preview show. So much of what Keegan did last season was stuff that came within Iowa's offense, right? They're not just isolating him and asking him to go make a play. They're saying, we're going to run this action. You're going to get it here. You're going to go make a shot right here in this spot. And I think Chris Murray can do a lot of the same things that Keegan Murray is going to be able to do. I'm not saying he's going to end up being a first-team All-American top 5 pick, but I do think that he scores it well enough that he should be able to be like an all Big Ten guy and be in the mix for an All-American team. And that